Hi guys, welcome back to True Crime After Dark. So I found this video. It was made 2 days ago, so some of you may have seen it already, but it's new stuff about Nicole Kessinger, and some of it's pretty heavy. So let's get into this video. Before we do, leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, especially if you're interested in this case, because I will be keeping you updated on all the stuff about Nicole Kessinger, all the stuff about Chris Watts and what he's saying in prison now. He is supposedly saying that he's willing to tell the truth, but it involves more people, and I cannot wait until that comes out. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Over. This one piece of evidence changed everything. Something that never made it into the police report. A red truck pulling up to the Watts residence. This is 3 hours before Shanann even arrives home from her trip. Now, for 7 years we've been told this was simple. One man, one terrible choice. Case closed. But what if I told you there's footage nobody wanted you to see? What if the person who had the most to lose in all of this never took a lie detector test? What if she knew exactly when to disappear? This is not the Chris Watts story you think you know. Because in 2025, the dots are finally connecting. And when they do, everything changes. Let me take you back to a moment everyone forgot about. Actually, let me take you back to the weekend before everything happened. Nate, the neighbor, he has a security camera. You probably already know about this camera because it's the one that caught Chris loading his truck on Monday morning. That footage went everywhere. Everyone saw it. But here's what nobody talks about. That same camera? It was recording all weekend. And at 2:47 a.m. on Monday morning, hours before Shanann's flight even landed, that camera catches something. A red truck. It pulls up to the Watts house, reddish in color, sitting across the street, just idling there in the dark. Now, the footage isn't crystal clear. It's grainy. It's distant. But it's there. And
Wasn't Nicole's friend, that MMA fighter, didn't he have a red truck? I might be mistaken, but you guys let me know in the comments, because I know that you guys know a lot about this too. So let me know if I'm right or if that could be somebody else.
in running. You can see the exhaust in the cool night air. Now, when this footage was reviewed, police looked at it. They made a note of it. And then they dismissed it. They said it was probably just someone turning around. Maybe someone lost. Maybe a delivery driver. Just a random vehicle. But was it? See that truck? It matches the description of a vehicle that was seen at another location. A location that's going to become very important to this story. A place called Survey 319. But we'll get to that. First, we need to talk about...
So that would be the friend. That should be the friend, MMA fighter that was seen there the next morning. And Nicole Kessinger was supposedly seen there that morning too.
Someone who had everything to lose when this case broke. Someone who did everything possible to hide. Her name was Nicole Kessinger. I say was because after this case, she literally disappeared off the face of the earth. Think about that for a second. When do people disappear? Let me tell you about Nichol. She worked at Anadarko. That's the oil company where Chris worked. She had a good job. Environmental department. Decent pay. Normal life. She met Chris at work. Summer of 2018. According to her story, she didn't know he was married at first. She said he told her he was separated. Going through a divorce. Almost done. You've heard that story before, right? They started seeing each other. Dating. Spending time together. Now here's where things get strange. Investigators looked at Nichol's phone. They looked at her search history. And they found something interesting. She searched for Shanann and Watts before she claims she even knew Chris was married. Read that again. She searched for Shanann.
We all know this too, but just keep going because there's more in this video.
Name before their relationship officially started. How do you search for someone's wife if you don't know they have a wife? But that's not all she was searching for. She was looking up things like, and I'm going to keep this appropriate for everyone watching. She was searching for intimate topics. How to please a man in specific ways. Okay, that's personal. That's her business. But then she searched something else. Can police trace deleted text messages? Why would you search that? Why would someone who has nothing to hide be wondering if police can recover deleted messages? Let me tell you what happened after Shanann and the girls went missing. Police interviewed Nichol multiple times. Hours and hours of interviews. You can find some of these interviews online. Audio recordings. You can listen to them yourself. And when you do, pay attention to something. Pay attention to her voice. She's answering questions, telling her story, going through the timeline. And then they ask her about someone named Jim Gatoski. Every single time his name comes up, her voice does something. Cracks. It shakes. She gets defensive. At one point, she literally says, "Leave Jim alone." Who is Jim? We'll get to that. But here
Sounds to me because she got really scared because maybe if they knew about Jim and maybe if they knew about Jim being there that morning, that maybe they knew about her being there that morning too. Maybe that's why her voice cracked.
here's my question for you. If Jim has nothing to do with this, why is she protecting him? But here's the biggest thing. Nichol told police she talked to Chris on the phone the night before Shanann and came home. They talked for over 2 hours. 2 hours. That's a long conversation. But when police asked to see her phone records, guess what? She had deleted them. All of them. She deleted the calls, the texts, everything from that time period. Now, she said she did this because she was getting death threats. People were harassing her. She wanted to erase her connection to Chris. Okay, I can understand that. But here's the thing. If you're innocent, if you have nothing to hide, why would you delete evidence?
You wouldn't. If you were innocent and you had nothing to hide, then you would hand over your phone and you would show everything. But no, she did have things to hide. And if they would have gotten all the messages and they would have investigated this case properly, then she would be sitting with Chris. And probably this guy too.
Police said she was cooperative. They said she answered all their questions. But cooperative people don't usually delete evidence, do they? And here's something that's going to blow your mind. Chris took a lie detector test. You know this. He failed it. Badly. But Nichol? She was never asked to take one. Think about that. The mistress. The other woman. The person who was with Chris right up until this happened. Never took a lie detector test. Why not?
Because of her father. Because he was protecting her. Gave her immunity. Why would you have to give someone immunity if they had nothing to do with the crime itself? I don't understand. Make that make sense. Please, make it make sense to me, guys. Because it does not make any sense at all.
And Jim Gatoski, the guy she keeps protecting, never formally interviewed on record. Never took a lie detector test. Why not? Now, there's a theory floating around online. People say Nichol went into witness protection. That she was given a new name. A new life, relocated somewhere far away. But here's the thing about witness protection. You can't just enter it because you were someone's mistress. You can't just get a new identity because people are mad at you online. You enter witness protection for one reason. Because you're in danger. Or because you know something dangerous.
Or maybe her daddy let her enter witness protection because her daddy was the CBI of Colorado. And just helped her get out of this completely. I cannot wait till we have a new DA because they need to re-examine all this. They need to reinvestigate all this. They need to go and get all we have new technology out now to get all those messages, all the deleted text messages. We have new technology that can get all of it that they didn't supposedly have. DA Rourke said they didn't have it, but I believe it was available back in 2018 as well.
Which one is it? But before we go down that road, we need to talk about what happened at Serva 319. Because that's where the bodies were found. And when you look at the details, nothing adds up. Here's what bothers me about that morning. Actually, let me back up. Let me tell you what Chris said happened. According to him, he did everything alone. By himself. No help. No planning. Just him. He said he acted in under 4 hours. Let me break down what that means. Bella, 4 years old. About 40 pounds. Cece, 3 years old. about 35 pounds. Shanann, pregnant, about 135 pounds. The location where he took them, Survey 319, is 45 minutes away from the house. So according to his story, in less than 4 hours he had to do all of this. Take care of Shanann, take care of the girls, load all 3 of them into his truck, drive 45 minutes to the oil site, unload them, carry them to the location, climb up the oil tanks. These aren't small tanks. These are industrial tanks with ladders. And this is the part that really bothers me, he had to fit their bodies through the hatches on top of those tanks. Those hatches are 8 inches wide. 8 inches. He claims he pushed both girls through those hatches.
Kind of makes you think that he had a lot more help. Really. I mean, the lack of the bruising on Shanann's neck. And when he answers questions about what exactly happened to the girls, he stutters and he can't exactly say what happens, and he keeps going back and forth on what happened, like he doesn't even really know exactly what happened, and maybe that's because there was people there helping him.
Into the oil tanks. Then he buried Shanann in a shallow spot nearby. Then he drove 45 minutes back home, cleaned everything, made the house look normal, and acted completely fine by morning when Shanann's friend showed up looking for her. Does that sound possible to you? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying really think about the logistics here. For hours. By himself. Now let me tell you about some things that don't add up. Remember that red truck I mentioned? The one on the security footage. Let me tell you what enhanced analysis shows. Frame by frame you can see it clearly. 2:47 a.m. A red truck pulls into the Watts driveway. It sits there for 11 minutes. Then it leaves, heading east, the same direction as Survey 319. When police were asked about this, they said it was unrelated. Just a random truck. Nothing to worry about. Let's talk about the man nobody wants to talk about. Jim Gatoski. Who is he? According to Nichol, he's a friend. Maybe an ex-boyfriend. She's not clear about it. In her police interviews, Nichol mentions Jim a lot. A lot. She talks about calling him, texting him, getting his advice, and every single time investigators push about Jim, she shuts down. Leave Jim alone. He has nothing to do with this.
You know, it kind of makes me think, did Chris Watts actually have anything to do with what happened to Anadarko? I mean, maybe he committed the murders, but did he really dispose of the bodies himself? Because he can't even get his story straight about this. But I believe these people were probably there the night she was murdered and ambushed her. I believe that's why she didn't have the marks on her neck or the broken bones, like I've said before in my other videos. So I believe that he had help, because this guy knew a way to knock someone out in under 7 seconds. And then the strangulation wouldn't have left any major bruising or anything, because you would already be passed out and you wouldn't have any defensive marks. So that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, either he was there or he wasn't, but I don't believe he was there alone. I don't believe there's any way he could have done it alone.
Don't drag him into this. Why? If Jim truly has nothing to do with any of this, why is she so protective? Here's what we know about Jim. When this case broke, when the news went public, Jim got a lawyer. Immediately. Now, I'm not saying that's suspicious by itself. Lots of people get lawyers when they're connected to a case like this. But innocent people usually cooperate with police. They usually give statements, answer questions, help with the investigation. Jim did none of that. No formal interview was ever released. No polygraph test. Nothing on record. He just disappeared from the story. Doesn't that strike you as odd? Now let me tell you about the phone records. Remember how Nichol deleted everything from her phone? Well, police were able to recover some fragments. Digital forensics can sometimes pull back deleted data. And what they found was interesting. Multiple calls between Nichol and Jim in the week leading up to this. And here's the big one. August 13th, 1:48 a.m. A 43-minute call between Nichol and Jim. 43 minutes. This is hours before everything happened. Hours before Shanann even landed at the airport. When police asked Nichol about this, she said she was asleep. But the phone records say otherwise. So who's lying? The phone records or Nichol? Let me ask you.
I want to see her go down. I want to see her. And this proves that they were, sorry, my microphone was mic'd, but this proves that they were at the scene. This proves that he did not do this alone. It proves how messed up the DA was in this investigation. And it proves that things need to be changed. And I don't know if Nicole's father is still in the CBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, but when the new DA comes in, a lot of people are working on documents, and I have a whole timeline written out, and I'm going to have a paralegal friend of mine to help me write out some papers to submit to the new DA as well. I'll be working on that soon and showing you guys in future videos. All right, let's get back to it.
Something. What if Chris didn't do this alone? What if he had help? Think about the oil field knowledge required. Knowing which sites were active, which ones were remote, which ones didn't have cameras. Think about the physical impossibility of one person doing all of this in 4 hours. Think about the rushed cleanup, the mistakes, the things left behind. What if Jim helped? What if Nichol knew? What if this was planned? But something went wrong. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying, doesn't it make you wonder? People online are wondering too. Reddit threads about this case are full of questions about Jim. YouTube comments asking, why isn't anyone investigating Jim? TikTok users breaking down the timeline and saying things don't add up. The internet has questions.
Nobody's investigating Jim because as far as DA Rourke is concerned, the case is closed. But no, the case is far from closed. There are so many mess ups they did during his whole plea agreement. They had nothing on him. He could have walked free in trial, and that's a horrible thing. So that's good that he took a plea deal. But there's also ways that because they messed up so bad and they didn't release certain information to his defense team, that this case can get brought back. He may be eligible for a retrial. I have to check the laws for that state, but he may be not a retrial, a trial. But if he is going to tell the truth this time and the other two are going to be involved, that may give Chris Watts maybe some less time. I don't know. I hope not. But I hope that the other people involved get justice for the families. I hope that they go down so we can have justice for Shanann, Bella, and Cece, and beautiful baby Nico that we never got to meet.
And those questions aren't being answered. Then Nicole Kessinger disappeared. She changed her name. Some people say she entered witness protection. Some people say she's living under a new identity somewhere far from Colorado. But here's my question. Why? What does she know? But before we answer that, we need to talk about something else. Because Chris has been writing letters from prison. And some of those letters don't match his confession. Chris Watts has been in prison since 2018. He's serving multiple life sentences. No chance of parole. He'll never get out. But he's been writing letters. Letters to authors. Letters to his mother. Letters to people who reach out to him. And in some of these letters, he says things that don't match the story he told in court. There was a woman named Shanann. She's an author. She wrote to Chris, got him to open up. In those letters, Chris talks about what happened. And here's where it gets weird. In one letter, he uses the word they instead of I. Then he scratches it out. He talks about getting help with something, then doesn't explain what kind of help. Now, these could just be mistakes, slip-ups, bad writing, or they could mean something.
They were slip ups because he almost slipped up and said that there were other people involved, just like he's saying now. To this day, he is saying that. And he is trying to call lawyers and he is trying to say, I'm ready to tell the truth, but it will involve other people. And his lawyers are giving him hope, which is very sad. But if this will get Nicole Kessinger looked at, and if this will get her friend looked at, and anybody that was involved in this crime, orchestrating it, making it happen, or actually committing the crime or helping dispose of the evidence needs to be sitting right in prison beside this miserable, pathetic excuse of a human being.
He's never changed his public story. Every official statement matches his confession. But privately, in letters, different story. Then in 2019, something happens. Chris changes his story again. He sits down with investigators for another interview. This time, he tells them something new. He says Shanann attacked the children. He says he walked in and saw her hurting them. And that's why he did what he did. He's trying to shift blame, make himself look less evil. But forensics prove that's impossible. The evidence doesn't match his new story at all. So why keep lying? Unless he's covering for someone. Some psychologists have analyzed Chris. They've looked at his behavior, his letters, his interviews, and they ask, is he protecting someone? Is he afraid of someone? Because people don't usually keep lying unless they have a reason. Here's something else. There were whispers after this case closed. Whispers from inside law enforcement. Some agents believed there was more to this case. Some people thought the investigation closed too quickly. Why? Was there political pressure? Was there something bigger happening? The case was closed. Chris confessed. Everyone moved on. But some people couldn't let it go. And that's when people started connecting dots to something much bigger. The oil company, Anadarko. Now let me tell you about Nicol's real job. She worked in environmental compliance. That means she had access to sites, records, violation reports. She knew which sites had problems, which ones were under investigation. What if she was given a job? Not officially, not in writing, but what if she was tasked with keeping Chris quiet, making sure he didn't talk about site violations? What if the affair was engineered? Think about it. Chris works at the sites. He sees things. He knows things. Nichol works in compliance. She's supposed to make sure everything is by the book. They meet. They start dating. She gains his trust. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory. I know it sounds far-fetched. But stranger things have happened. Then Nichol disappears. 2019.
To me, nothing sounds far-fetched anymore. The more I learn about this case, the more it just gets crazier and crazier. And this isn't the end of the case. There's no way. This is not. There's too many people fighting. There's too many petitions being signed. There is so much information going to be ready for the new DA that he's going to have no choice but to reopen the case and investigate Nicole Kessinger, investigate her friend, and get all those deleted text messages that weren't able to be recovered at that time. Because we can recover them now, Nicole. All right, let's get back into it.
Less than a year after the case ends, rumors start spreading that she entered witness protection. Her name changes. Court records show a legal name change granted at unusual speed. She relocates. No one knows where. But here's the thing about witness protection. You can't just enter it because you had an affair with someone. You enter it for two reasons. One, you're in danger. Someone wants to hurt you. Two, you know something dangerous.
Just real quick, I thought that Nicole Kessinger didn't change her name because we all just saw her at this funeral of her friend's mom or dad, and she was there as Nicole Kessinger. So I think that that's not true that she changed her name. I don't know about the rest of it, but that part I don't think is true.
Something people don't want getting out. So which one is it? What does Nichol know? Government documents about her case are sealed. You can't access them. Why? What's in those documents that needs to be hidden? So where is she now? And more importantly, what does she know? Because in 2025, something happened.
Well, let's unseal those documents. You guys ready? You guys ready to see what these documents say? Let's get them unsealed. Keep following this channel. Keep following this case. On other channels, my channel, whichever. Just keep following the case because your voice is going to matter. And when it comes time for these petitions and we put these online petitions, we need all your signatures. If you believe Nichol needs to be investigated and her friend needs to be investigated and this whole case needs to be relooked at now that DA Rourke won't be in office to save her because of her daddy and them being friends, then please type down below, I believe that she needs to be reinvestigated and I'm ready and I am with you. And let's unseal these documents.
Someone found her, and what they discovered changes everything. This is where it gets wild. You know how the internet works, right? Once people fixate on something, they don't let go. TikTok users, Reddit investigators, YouTube sleuths, they started piecing together clues, social media posts, public records, court documents, and they found a woman matching Nichol's description. Living in a different state, different name, different life, but same person. I'm not going to say which state. That's not fair to anyone involved. But people found her. And here's what's strange. She's watching this case. People report seeing her comment on true crime forums, anonymous accounts, but the details she knows, only Nichol would know them.
Yep, so keep commenting, guys, because I know she's read some of our comments because when the audio was released of Nicole's cousin, that was really Nicole, everyone thinks, because it's the same voice. She actually said some of the stuff that was on the comments on one of my videos. So we know she's watching. So keep leaving those comments, guys.
Someone even reported receiving anonymous messages that said, "You don't know the whole story. Was it her? Or was it someone pretending to be her? We don't know. But it gets stranger." 2024. A user on Reddit makes a post. They claim to know who owned the red truck. The one on the security footage. They say it was a company vehicle. From Anadarko. According to this user, vehicle logs show that truck was checked out at 2:15 a.m. on August 13th. And checked back in at 6:32 a.m. Exactly the window when everything happened. The driver's name? Redacted from all reports.
Of course it was redacted, but that's crazy. So they actually had a truck from Anadarko in the vicinity of the house before Shanann got home, and then leaving after, and then at the site the next morning it was returned. I mean, that spells him involved all over it, whoever was driving that truck.
Blacked out. Why would a company vehicle's driver information be redacted from a case file? The user posted proof. Screenshots of documents. Timestamps. Then the post was deleted. The user's account was deleted. Everything gone. Why? Then something else happened. A true crime podcaster received an anonymous phone call. The woman on the phone sounded nervous. Scared. She said, "Jim knows what happened. Ask him about the truck." Then she hung up. The podcaster tried to trace the call. Couldn't. They tried to call back. Number was disconnected. Was it really Nichol? Or was someone playing games? We don't know. But it's strange. Isn't it? All these pieces. All these questions.
I don't think it was Nicole because she wouldn't want her friend investigated. But I do believe that it was someone else calling in that believed that this guy should be investigated. And the Anadarko truck. I didn't even know that. That's what I didn't know about this. And I don't know if you guys know that. If you did, then great. But I did not know that they had actually used an Anadarko truck, and it was seen that night at Shanann's house, and then it was dropped off after the murders and after Chris went to work. This is sickening, and it's just horrible, guys. We got to get this case relooked at. We have to. I mean, it's our moral authority. This is the worst case that's happened in American history. There's a lot of other ones that are really bad, and I've got them on my channel, but this is the most disturbing case for so many people, and for myself as well. Alright, guys, this is the end of the video, but thanks for watching with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. The next video I've got, I don't know if you've seen that one yet, but it's pretty new, and it's a leaked footage of Chris and his mom talking. And it's sickening because they're talking about the memorial they set up for Celeste and Cece and what pictures they use. And he says, I see her in my dreams. So if you guys saw that video, let me know in the comments here, and I won't do it. But if you didn't and if you want to see it, let me know in the comments. So, alright guys, take care of yourself. Always trust your gut, and God bless. I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye.